All right, let's get to it,
Let's
Rob
get
G.
back to it. Yes, football. Kyler Murray, of course, has had a tumultuous run, I'll say, with the Arizona Cardinals. Started off pretty hot. He's had some really high highs, but some incredibly low lows, probably the lowest point being the infamous Call of Duty clause in his contract. You know, that might have been peak cinema right there in the world of football. But
Jamarcus Russell level?
it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. They're on par. They're eye to eye. But last week,
Quit making height jokes, bro.
you know,
That is, yeah. That's a
Come on.
contrast
Highs
right
to
there.
highs, lows to lows, then eye to eye. Come on. You're not slick. All right?
All right. So their GM said earlier this week at the Combine that he and Kyler Murray have spoken. They talked about how last season unfolded, what the plan is moving forward, claimed that they are both on the same page. However, a source close to Kyler told ESPN that is not true, that we have not talked at all since the season ended. And in fact, it leads to further speculation that this whole thing is just a ruse and Kyler Murray will be out of Arizona with the quickness.
Martin, you can go ahead. Yeah, your thoughts on this?
Kyler Murray was out of Arizona. Because let me tell you something. Let me let you in behind the curtain. I never played again, but I've paid a lot of attention to this game over the last 20 years.
Thought you were going to say you played a lot of Madden.
No. But if a starting quarterback is healthy, he is going to play. Period. Stop. The moment Kyler Murray was off of injured reserve, and it's like, wait a minute, my foot is healthy. Wait a minute, my foot still hurts. It was, wait a minute, his career in Arizona is over. He will never take another snap as a member of the Arizona Cardinals. Period. Stop. They will, especially in today's NFL, where like Sean Payton made it okay to eat that money. Get out of here. It's over for Kyler Murray in Arizona. And it was over the moment Jacoby Brissett got that week 11, 12, 13, whatever week it was. When he got that start, once Kyler was cleared, it was over with. Period. Stop. New regime, even more over.
Here's my thing. I think it is over for Kyler Murray, and I think Jacoby Brissett is what I'm calling him because I think he's going to be the bridge guy, the gap guy until they find their guy. I think he's 33 years old right now. Had a nice season for them. Had them in games that you probably like, well, how are they still competitive in this game? And also offensively, they were moving the ball much better with Jacoby Brissett is what I'm calling him because they went up about 50 to 60 yards per game and a whole 5-6 points per game with Jacoby Brissett. The offense looked crisp. They were getting the ball to their weapons. And again, they're not a great team, so they ended up losing some games, but they were right there in some of these games. They had a chance to win a few. And to me, when you start to have issues with the starting quarterback, when I have to question, is he studying the playbook? When he already has a seemingly disposition that might not be your typical what you want from your franchise quarterback, not to mention he's undersized, hasn't been incredibly accurate, and I'm hanging on to what was, meaning those year and a half he had 2-3 years ago. I'm hanging on to that. Hopefully he gets back to that. I think the writing is on the wall, and I think they're going to try to find a suitor. And a team like a Minnesota, the Vikings, who would say, you know what? I'm Kevin O'Connell. It ain't working out with JJ. Not that we necessarily throw the towel in as if he's done. He's very, very young. But if we can go ahead and get a Kyler Murray with all these weapons we have on both sides of the ball, still have an incredible defense, still have weapons. We know that with Jefferson and Addison and so on and so forth. And I can go get a Kyler Murray and I can train him up the right way. Man, we might be explosive. We might be able to do some things. I think coaches and teams who believe we've got the right recipe for a guy that has talent. Can he be Caleb Williams light? Can he be Caleb? He ain't that, but can he be a B version of that? Might help us. Because the reason there aren't 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Someone's going to need a quarterback. And if you are, to me, the Cardinals, you just want to start moving in a different direction. And again, that's why Jacoby Brissett might have to be our Bridget and bridge us till we find our guy of the future moving forward. And I'm going to just try to move on. It's just been too rocky. They're never on the same page. There's always seems to be some beef between Kyler Murray and them. He's not necessarily the guy that's excitable or exciting as a franchise leader. There seems to always be something again. And if I have to question if he's locked and loaded, my quarterback, if there's one person I don't want to be questioning, is locked into the playbook, is locked into leadership, is locked into being the best version of himself, it's my quarterback.
I'm not throwing away anything that you just said, but I also don't care that much about it. Like if you told me that Josh Allen didn't study his playbooks, like, all right, well, I don't care. Like, or Mahomes from year 3, I think it was a clip on the Pivot podcast. He has a Super Bowl MVP. He's like, I'm just now learning how to read defenses. Like, some of this I don't care about. Like, you can tell me that Kyler Murray stays to play video games till 7 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't happen on the field. Like, it doesn't happen on the field. Like, the reputation of Kyler Murray is much greater than any of the output that we have seen. And I have fallen for it more times than I care to admit. Because it's just like probably the first time I'm not just like, I picked the Cardinals to win the West a lot. And everybody has won it since them, right? Mm-hmm. Seahawks, 49ers, and the Rams have all won, gone to one NFC championship games in Kyler Murray's tenure as an Arizona Cardinal. Right? So, but Kyler Murray is very much like Trae Young in that they're both short. No, I'm just kidding. But no, in that their skill set is very unique and explosive. However, you've got to build the whole thing around them. And what you find when you build the whole thing around them is that explosive skill set is not enough pistons firing to run a whole engine. It's just not. It's 2 cylinders and we need 6.
But
right?
This is why when you say, the study and the care, I said it matters to me because when you are locked in, you may find other ways. And the best of the best can find other ways, meaning for Kyler Murray, it's just scrambling, and then making a deep throw. Or if it's scramble, and he just runs 45 yards to gain 8. But you might say, man, I can slice and dice this team. You know what? Switch it up. We're just going to slice them a death by 1,000 paper cuts and we're going to go full Patriots on them. Slant. Oh, this game, you know what? I'm going to have 15 attempts, and be okay with that. We're just going to run the mess out of the ball because I'm seeing how they're doing this and they're bringing the guys down the box. My point is, you're able to do that when you're locked in. I'll give you an example from another guy, shorter, smaller, strong arm like Kyler, athletic like him. The best version of Michael Vick was when he admittedly, you spent time around him, I know, I locked into the playbook.
Sure.
I spent my whole life being faster than everybody, more athletic and more gifted, so I really had to lock in. I'm at the clubs. I'm hanging out in Atlanta. I'm the hottest dude in the game. And when he finally got with McNabb and Andy Reid, they showed him professionalism and locking in. He's like, oh, and what happened? MVP candidate, comeback player of the year. We're like, man, if I got that version of Michael Vick for a decade, he might be top 3-4 quarterbacks ever.
But the problem with both Trae Young and Kyler Murray is the deficiencies are too great. If Mike Vick was 5'6", he would have never got – I shouldn't say 5'6". If Mike Vick was 5'9".
The short shaming.
If Mike Vick was 5'9", 5'10", he would have never got a second chance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he would have never – like, Mike Vick was the prototypical –
Mike Vick's 6 foot.
And again, if Mike Vick –
Stop acting like 6 – they yell at everybody else who's 6 foot.
I'm not –
They want 6'2" and up.
And Mike Vick was – one of the, if not the best athlete at quarterback we have ever seen, right? Short conversation. He's first name out the mouth, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen up there with him. But, like, still, like, when you're looking at that type of talent, like, those guys could have played other positions, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not suggesting that they should. But if you wanted to put Josh Allen at tight end or Lamar Jackson at wide receiver or cornerback or now I'm forgetting who I said the first line. But
Mike Vick, Jackson, right. Josh Allen.
If you wanted to put these guys at different spots, you could have. The only thing that Kyler could play is quarterback, and that's with incredible athleticism. I'll spin it to you like this, because you said Mike Vick. I will go to another guy. We just talked about him. I think that Jalen Hurts is pretty locked in his playbook, and it don't matter. He's still not throwing to a third of the field because he's too short to do it. Kyler Murray can be as locked. He could be calling the plays. It don't matter. Marvin Harrison Jr. is not a weapon over the middle of the field because he literally just physically can't see it. Trey McBride, not the weapon that he could be because he can't see it. You sub in Jacoby Brissett, who to me is worse at has physically worse than Kyler Murray at everything. Kyler got a better arm. Kyler faster. But Jacoby Brissett is just 6'2" and can look over the line of scrimmage.
And also, I'll add, a professional who understands what's required of him. And again, he understands I'm not one of the best quarterbacks, but I can professionally do this job, and he's always going to have a job. He's going to be that guy we're going to look up. He's 40 years old, still backing up, making $5-6 million a year because he understands the role.
I remember his first start, Thursday Night Football, with the New England Patriots. Deflategate. Remember, Brady was down to 4 games, then Garoppolo got hurt after going 2-1, and Jacoby Brissett,
he had a nice start,
NC State,
started
on Thursday Night Football.
And look at him,
Just
still
in case
going strong.
that's ever the question on Final Jeopardy. There you
Decade,
go.
10 was it 10 years, 12 years later? He's still in the league. All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.